Hello, I'm Mayor David Abernathy, and I'd like to give you an update and some background on the City of Pittsburgh's plans for and response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Very early on, we assembled our local emergency management team, which consists of City Manager Clint Hardeman, City Secretary Stacy Dorsett, Chief of Police Richard Penn, who's also our emergency management coordinator, and myself. The first thing we did was assemble a continuity of operation plan. And some of the key components of that are procedures for protecting employees, response procedures, exposure mitigation, maintaining operations with limited personnel, and lines of succession. We also researched the legal requirements for conducting virtual meetings and virtual business. To that end, we installed the necessary equipment to make that happen, and we knew we were going to be relying heavily on the internet, so we installed a redundant internet system in case one fails. We closed the City Hall and public buildings to the public access when it was appropriate time for the citizens' safety as well as our employees. We did so, though, only after we had alerted everyone by posting how they could still conduct business with the city on the City Hall itself, as well as on our website and social media outlet sites. We also decided early on that it was the right thing to do for the environment and the economy being as hit as hard as it was, that we would not cause a disruption in anyone's service for not paying their bills. So city water, trash pickup, and sewer is still going on, and we'll catch up later on with any of those accounts that are delinquent. We also knew it was vitally important to go ahead and submit an application for FEMA reimbursement. We've done that and received approval from FEMA. And to that end, we've also been tracking cost associated with this for later submittal and reimbursement. We also implemented that continuity of operation plan across all departments and city staff, and it's proved to be very beneficial for us, and we've been using that for a few weeks now. I issued a disaster declaration that goes through April 30th. I anticipate us having to extend that disaster declaration. But that disaster declaration gives us authorities that we don't generally have on a day-to-day basis that are necessary to use in a disaster or an emergency situation. For the most part, it mirrors Governor Abbott's disaster declaration and also the county's. But those are essential for us not only to operate in this environment, but also is essential for us to be eligible for reimbursement. We also have daily calls with the Department of State Health Services, or commonly known as the Health Department. State Health Department. Those have been really vital for situational awareness, plus we have an opportunity to provide input and receive output from them on a day-to-day basis, and then that information is shared with our local team. We also redesigned the city's website for a separate landing page just dealing with the COVID-19 information. We're putting information in there from CDC, the Department of State Health Services, as well as our own that is also bilingual. On the social media sites, we've done the same thing. On the parks, we're trying to keep parks open as much as we can, but also making them as safe as we can. We're disinfecting certain surfaces out there and plan on amping that up in the near future as supplies come in. We also put signage there reminding everyone to keep groups small in compliance with the governor's executive order, and also those are in bilingual form. The baseball fields, we closed those down as a request to the Baseball Association, who's leasing the fields from the city to limit exposure. On PPE, you've heard that term probably numerous times, personal protective equipment. Just be assured we have enough to provide essential services to our citizens for all of our emergency responders, as well as our day-to-day city employees, to still continue to provide those essential services to our citizens. We have a limited supply. But we also are having some trickle in almost on a daily and weekly basis, and expect that supply chain just to keep on being in place. Also, we are issuing badge IDs, photo IDs to every city employee and every volunteer firefighter should we get in a situation of restricted travel or access to buildings. We wanted to do that early on if this pandemic gets worse, and from some of our people are traveling from other cities and may have to get through some traffic. Also, we're in compliance with the governor's executive orders. A lot of those executive orders, when they come down from the governor, and this is typical in every state in the nation, When they come down, a lot of those orders have to be enforced locally. That's just the way the mechanism works. So we plan on fully enforcing those orders that the governor set forth, and that's also why a lot of our disaster declarations have language in them that matches those orders and his declaration. I want you to know that we're still going to be able to provide essential services to the citizens. We're doing that through staggered shifts with personnel and also working as virtual. We have some employees working from home virtually, as well as have that in place that we can conduct our meetings virtually and still keep the city of Pittsburgh running and supporting citizens to the most degree, just like you normally would have received on a day-to-day operation. I'm going to close out here. We do situation reports every day. And some of our situation reports that we've sent in here from Pittsburgh and Kemp County have actually made it all the way to the state. And the state reports, when they go in, it's a compilation of those reports from around the state. But we know for a fact that some of the input that we've done right here in Pittsburgh has been received in that state report. And that's pretty significant because the state of Texas, including the governor, the House Appropriations Chair and Senate Finance Chair see those situation reports. And so we're able to give them reports on what's happening locally. And I just wanted you to know that we're doing that on a day-to-day basis as well to keep them informed on what's going on here in Pittsburgh and Kemp County. Also, I just want to continue to ask for your patience and compliance with Governor Abbott's executive orders and our disaster declaration to help prevent the overwhelming of the healthcare system. That is paramount. That's what this is all about, is to keep from overwhelming the healthcare system. They only have a certain amount of equipment, certain amount of beds, and certain amount of staff. And we want to maintain that level that they're able to help everyone that they need to and not overwhelm them. And to that end, you've heard this before, but all these are still vitally true. Continue to limit unnecessary trips. If you do have a necessary or essential trip, try to combine several of those into one trip. Limit one person of your family going on those trips if necessary. Not everybody has to go to the grocery store and maybe pick up some supplies. Maintain your distance from each other. This is spreading from person to person. It is a highly contagious disease. Wash your hands often with soap and water. Cover your coughs and sneezes. Stay at home if you're sick unless you're seeking medical assistance. You've heard these time and time again. You'll continue to hear them because they are so vitally essential. With that, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this. And we will try to keep you served just like we intend from that continuity of operation plan. And all of the city officials are behind all of this. We are all on one page. We are all out there working hard for you. And I want to thank you again for listening.